How did that love of the game fuel your career?
It was the basis of my career. My love of the game within my contract, which, I'm pretty sure most contracts now, I'm actually positive now, don't have that clause within the contract.
One place where he often invoked that clause was in late-night games at his summer basketball camp for kids at suburban Elmhurst College. On many hot summer nights after the young basketball campers went to bed, Michael would join in fierce basketball battles against the college players helped to run the camp.
Everybody's so worried about everything else now instead of what it was built on, like your game, competing, winning, going out there, giving everything you got. It's like everybody's so caught up in all the shit that don't matter anymore.
You see the players of today's basketball with that mindset to achieve greatness?
It's hard to be hungry when you have. Simple as that.
When looking at Michael Jordan's NBA career, of course he won 6 championships, had 5 MVPs, and numerous accolades and records that will never be touched. For Michael Jordan's legacy, those things are very important. But looking, the most important thing is Jordan's mentality and attitude that he brought to the entire NBA.
And at that time it was about 10% chance that I can re-injure my ankle or my foot. He says, if you have a headache and you got 10 tablets and one of them is coated with cyanide, would you take the Tylenol? And I looked at him, I said, how bad is the headache?
For a lot of players in any era, once they get that big time shoe deal, big max contract, even their first MVP, instead of doubling down, going even harder, they take their foot off the gas and they let up. That right there for the vast majority of superstars is simply human nature. And looking at this era, it's 10 times worse, as of course contracts nowadays are heavily bloated and inflated, and role players are getting paid like mega superstars.
I didn't put the brand before I put the work. I put the work first, and then the brand evolved based on the work.
Right.
A lot of times it's different. You see it in every sport, not just basketball, football, baseball. Everybody's walking around with a logo and a hat, and I get it. But whatever I did here is never going to affect what I do on the basketball court.
With great power comes great responsibility.
For Michael Jordan's overall mentality, it's a perfect blend of both worlds. He's hyper-competitive, kind of cocky, arrogant, a big-time trash talker, but at the same time, very, very humble. And a lot of athletes, you get one or the other. In Michael Jordan, you get the best of both worlds. For a lot of players in Michael Jordan's shoes, getting all the praise, all the adulation, all the endorsement deals, they would have fumbled it in embarrassing fashion. And look in the 2020s era of guys who fumbled the bag, fumbled being the face of the NBA, right now we have 2 guys who fit that bill to a T. First up, Zion Williamson, the next chosen one, the next it guy, and actually a Jordan brand athlete. Then secondly, Ja Morant, who at one point was the most popular player in basketball. If you want to define blowing your opportunity in NBA terms, Ja Morant and Zion Williamson are a prime definition of doing just that.
You blew it! Do you see the players of today's basketball with that mindset to achieve greatness?
It's hard to be hungry when you have. Simple as that. I mean, if you don't have, you are willing to do whatever you have. So my mental approach was go in, do my job, be the best basketball player I can be, and all the chips and everything outside of that, I had people that were handling that, but basketball court, I'm handling.
So stopping Jordan right there very quickly, in that latest NBC segment, he was very, very politically correct and careful with his words. As looking at that segment, he didn't directly say players nowadays don't have hunger, but he kind of said it in a roundabout way. And again, looking at players' salaries, if you want to make max dollars get paid, maximize your potential, I don't begrudge you. When you're a superstar player, even a role player, getting paid tons of money, with that money comes responsibility. A lot of players nowadays, once they get that contract, they sit back, relax, take a breath, when in reality, you should do the exact opposite. And look, I do get it. It is human nature. The hungriest wolf isn't the one on top of the hill. It's the one climbing the hill.
Now it's like, it's a prerequisite. Everybody has to have a logo. Everybody has to have a...
why, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm part of the reason why everybody tries to get a logo, but...
Brand, right?
A brand.
Right, brand Jordan.
But the thing is that brand is established based on what I did on the basketball court.
Flashback.
Michael Jordan, the Magic Johnsons, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, we earned what we got. When the corporate America came to us, we had a game that could validate their admiration and
sponsorship and all that, yeah.
Now they get that before they play one game.
So once again, stopping Jordan right there very quickly, when it comes to guys having a brand, being a personality outside of basketball, if you can handle it, it's a beautiful thing. Someone like Jordan could balance both those worlds. Other star players really can't do that. And looking at the 80s and 90s, well, you had marquee players who had shoes, had brands. It wasn't every single star player on every team. Nowadays, even some role players have a brand and a signature shoe. Like I said earlier, in some respects, that can be great. In other ways, it can be a big-time detriment. Look at someone like Cade Cunningham, a bona fide star, borderline superstar. This guy recently got a big-time Nike deal. For someone like Cade, how he plays, how he's wired, that's not going to bother him. He's going to double down and go even harder. For other players, they might do the exact opposite. And that's what it comes back to. When every player has a brand, has a shoe, a lot of those players aren't wired like a Jordan, wired like a Cade Cunningham. Back in the day, to get a shoe deal, get a brand deal, you had to be a guy and a top-tier player. A Magic, a Bird, a Jordan, a Dr. J. Nowadays, I hate to say it, but even R.J. Barrett has a signature shoe.
As long as you understand that this is always going to be what you're remembered for, basketball and your love for basketball should always be pure. We would play this game, I've always said this, we would play this game for free. We did. And now we just so happen to get paid for it. Generationally, you know, I like to think that most of the time that people will remember Michael Jordan based on what he did on the basketball court and not always the commercials that he did.
So stopping that right there very quickly, I want to clarify a couple of things. Guys getting brand deals and getting shoe deals, it is a great thing for them financially and for their profile league-wide. I'm not against that in the slightest. But what I am against is complacency and sitting back once you get that deal and taking it easy and robbing the fans of seeing you play. For someone like Jordan, like I've said over and over again, once he got that brand deal, once he made it, he doubled down and went even harder. And looking at Jordan, the player, the athlete, in all honesty, the perfect player to market and be a brand all in himself. As looking at his play style, electric dunks, could score, defend, he played all the games, and he was grounded in hard work.
It's just amazing how Michael just became who he was, not just as a player, but an endorser, carrying the league on his back, with great players still in the game. Bird still playing and Magic still playing. I mean, everybody was looking toward Michael.
When it comes to the Jordan shoe brand, the shoes didn't just sell the shoes. Michael Jordan, the player, he sold the shoes, the iconic mantra of be like Mike. Because of course you have the Jordans, you be like Jordan, you'd be the best. You can look at a lot of marquee players or box office players, you put in Jordan's position, they wouldn't capitalize on it and maximize Nike to its fullest potential. Someone like Jordan, a larger-than-life figure, was wired the exact right way. As looking at Jordan, that weird dichotomy of being an underdog, but also a larger-than-life figure you couldn't beat.
How did that love of the game fuel your career?
It was the basis of my career. My love of the game within my contract, which, you know, I'm pretty sure most contracts now, I'm actually positive now, don't have that clause within the contract where
you had a clause in your contract.
Love of the game contract, right, that if I was driving with you down the street and I see a basketball game on the side of the road, I can go play in that basketball game. And if I get hurt, my contract is still guaranteed. I love the game so much that I would never let someone take the opportunity for me to play the game away from me.
So once again, stopping Jordan right there for the last time, when it comes to him being an icon, being so successful, and why he resonated with fans, it's quite simple. When you look at someone like Jordan, there's no doubt basketball comes first and foremost, basketball his job, and what he loves more than anything else. For a lot of players nowadays, the love for basketball comes secondary to their brand, personal profile, and of course, money. In past eras, did you have guys like that here and there? Of course you did. But looking at this era, whenever guys a brand has a shoe deal, you get that much more often.
So in essence, you're paying the kid off of potential.
Yeah.
That he may be great.
You don't think that's good?
No, because I think it sets bad work ethic. When you get something so easily, you're not going to work as hard.
So that right there is in the video, and once again to restate, it's quite simple. For someone like Michael Jordan, the best of both worlds. A great player, electric player, transcendent player, of course he was. But upstairs was wired like a blue-collar worker who had to go to work every day and perform for the fans and the paying customer. If you're the NBA in the 90s, Michael Jordan was a godsend and the perfect face of the NBA. If every superstar player nowadays could try to emulate Jordan his model, the NBA in the long run will be in a much better spot. So guys like Shea, Luka, Wemby, Anthony Edwards, the next era of players, if you want the 2030s to be successful, reach its potential, emulate Jordan, his model, being the face of the NBA, and being the guy and ambassador for what basketball should look like and how superstar players should carry themselves. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.